We have a letter which deals with far too many subjects. There's 5 or 6 videos in this, but we're going to try to do most of it in one. But it is a confusing mix of someone who is living in the Philippines apparently and is not too happy. So we're going to call him, on his suggestion, we're going to call him Sleep Alone, alright, or Sleeping Alone. He said, let me see, I'm about ready to go crazy here. We have been married for over a year. These ways, even though I know, revert back to American ways. I'm not quite sure how that works out. But anyway, we have nice standards here, nice place upstairs, downstairs, new furnishings and all that, and yet she still reverts back to Bisaya and old home in Matagob. Anyway, she's there now for a big fiesta, and there it's really hot and I don't like it. So, goes on. My wife is faithful, but I hate these ways, especially Catholic ways. Wife's mum is all about Mother Mary. What about God or Jesus? I'm a normal person that believes in God. Here, Mum always wants her to, that's his wife, wants his wife to spend the night there, he said, and I get hateful. She's there now, so I sit alone because I don't understand Bisaya and sit there and look stupid. I'm even forgetting English because I don't talk to anybody. So, I said we'll do a video on it, and here I am. Okay, thanks for your input. I know you're busy, I watch your videos and I'm not naive. Just want input as soon as you can. Thanks. Signed, Sleep Alone. Okay, Sleep Alone it is. I say this in all my videos. It's about being married to a Filipina. You have to make the change. And he responded, true, but I see you get disturbed and your videos don't lie. But problems we can solve. Yes, we can. And I never said ever that I do it perfectly. So, what are we looking at, darling? We're looking at someone who is at odds with too many things in his life in the Philippines. I'm being shoved along here. So, you have to come to terms with some of them, you know, because you can't go along. I really hate when people say I really hate. Just a joke, okay, play on words. But it doesn't do any good to say that you hate stuff. So, how much sense is it that you hate the Catholic way and you're in a predominantly Catholic country? How does that work? And can you hate someone because they have, their emphasis is on the Virgin Mary rather than God or Jesus, if they're not the same? So we're really talking about beliefs. And then you go on, even though I didn't read this out in the letter, you go on to say that you live in an area where there is a heavy Muslim presence, and they're up there in their ivory towers, and they're doing their singing, all right, and that comes out, and you know, you get feeling that you're having it rammed to you. Well, you know what? A few years ago, when I was in the UK, I used to have friends who lived in a tiny little terraced house in Croydon, and that's in the UK, and with a sidewalk that was about 6 foot wide, and then you're in the street, so nothing between your front door and the actual street. And every Sunday they'd get the Salvation Army who would come along. I'm going to get you in a second, honey, just let me finish the bit of the story. The Salvation Army would come along with their band, and they'd make a terrible noise outside, if that's not your belief. So, it's everywhere in the world. It's not just about being in the Philippines. Any time that you try to make these problems specifically to be in the Philippines, I think you're in trouble. Now, I remembered you from once before, because I think that we did a video on you once before. And when I looked back along my messages, there is your lovely wife and lovely daughter, and you go on to say how the daughter is an absolutely perfect student, works very hard, gets good grades, and they both are beautiful. You look like, to me, like a lucky man. Well, what you're saying in your letter is that your wife goes and stays with her mum. It seems to me that it's not just about being Catholic. You need to do some real changes yourself, Beth.
Yeah, it's about respect, you know. Respect the culture, respect everyone's belief, and at the same time, if you love the persons, you will accept whoever she is, right?
Whoever, whatever.
Yeah, whoever, whatever,
and whatever she believes.
Whenever, whatever, you know, because you love that person, you married that person, then accept her, you know. And on your case, you're just all, what do you call that? The way I hear that, it's just like more talk rather than action. You know,
yeah,
if you love that person, if you love your partner, show it in actions rather than complaining. Because sometimes when you put that on your mind, a lot of complaint, the love will be gone, right? Because it means if you have a lot of complaint, you don't love your wife, you don't respect your wife, and what can you expect? Do you think that he loves you? She's gonna love you back? She's gonna respect you? No, there's gonna be a gap on the relationship.
Yes, once you start to get critical, you've already passed the point of not caring. There are different moods and places. It's like the layers in a cake, and the top layer is the one that you enjoy the most when you meet the person and you're overwhelmed with their beauty, and your wife is a beautiful lady, and the daughter, beautiful daughter, and apparently intelligent and hard-working. My God, what more can you want? But we do want more, and as we get through the layers of the cake, it starts to get thinner, so that you've got to work at it, you know? And it's not enough. It's not enough to start criticizing and thinking that you're going to change that person.
Yeah, accept it, and at the same time, learn to do, learn to love the way your wife did, right?
I think so.
Yeah, you know, don't complain, don't think it in a negative way, just positive, you know, because the more you respect your wife, the more you embrace the culture, the more you embrace the family, then the family will love you back, your wife will love you back more than you deserve.
What's wrong? What's wrong with having an emphasis as a belief on the Virgin Mary or the Madonna or Mary? What's wrong with that? Why would you oppose that?
I think, you know, what you need to do is just learn the culture, learn the belief, and understand deeper so that you will know in yourself what to believe.
Honey, that's a very general solution. Just learn the culture. Oh, by the way, just learn the culture.
Learn the religion, right? And then you will understand deeper what is right and wrong. And by that, when you understand what is right and wrong, fight for the right thing.
Right, Beth and I do not believe in the same way. We don't. And for a long time, I had to field comments saying, well, Beth, you have to keep praying so that Terence will be saved. Well, my viewpoint was, excuse me, I don't need to be saved. I'm already working very hard at my salvation, and don't assume because I don't use the same words as you that I don't believe in my own way. Now, I'm not out there trying to say that the Catholics are this or the Muslims are that. Obviously I don't agree with the way that the Catholics do it, And I don't agree with the way that the Muslims do it. And I don't agree with the way that another 43,000 religions out there who all profess to be Christian. I don't agree with how they all do it either. But in my way, I'm a believer, and in my belief, Jesus is one heck of a guy to be following. So that's a whole other video. Your idea of that you're not happy and you're sleeping alone, sorry, but it's really up to you to make it so that your wife is in great conflict about, well, Mom, I really would like to go home and sleep with my husband. Now, if all that you're doing is bitching and whining and griping about, well, what about the Catholics? And I don't like the Catholics, and I don't like your mother because she believes in, that's all she believes in, the Virgin Mary. And what about the Muslims and up on that tower doing that yodeling stuff? You know, who wants to be with someone who's always griping? I actually fired somebody in my life who was a friend and a neighbour, and I just got tired of listening to him gripe all the time. For me, you're in a country that has given you a home. No, they didn't come and say, we'd like to build you a home for nothing and fill it with fine furniture. But they've welcomed you here, and you can go out and interact with people speaking your language. I don't know how you get away with that idea that you forget how to speak English, because I am a lazy devil when it comes, sorry for the choice of word there, but I'm lazy when it comes to learning the language. And you know why? Because everywhere I go, people are wonderful to me and speak my language, even though they're quite embarrassed sometimes with their nosebleeds, but they speak my language. How can I complain? What is there to gripe about? So, as I said in one of my responses to you, you're here, and you're the foreigner, and your wife is not. So, you got to shape up, and you've got to do the changing. And I've said this before, I'm no oracle, but I actually believe from a logical frame of reference, wait a minute, if I'm the foreigner, then I'm going to have to change. Now, if I bring my wife over to my country, I'm not the foreigner anymore. She is. So, who's going to change? She's going to have to adapt. And here's the irony. There's many an expat have taken their Filipina over to their first world country, and they haven't liked the way that the Filipina has adapted. So, think about that too. I hope this helps. Sorry, it's a bit of tough love, but my wife sees it in very black and white terms. You have to learn the culture. And sorry, that's it. I've had some really tough lessons of late about learning the culture. They do things differently. Why? Well, because this is the Philippines. And you're not a Filipino. And I'm not being facetious, and boy, I wish I could say something that would just handle it for you. I really do. But change is hard won. Get that? Even when you're really, really trying, change comes hard. So, if you have no reason to change, in that you are Filipino or Filipina living in your own country, and therefore think that your partner should do some changing, Change is going to be a very hard one, I'm telling you. So, you got to get on and start looking at it. Remember what I said in one of my other responses to you on Messenger, that the benefits for assuming that you are the one, as you are in the Philippines, the one to do the changing. I said that the benefits, spiritually speaking, are enormous. They're huge. And then I used that expression boot camp, and I said this is kind of like boot camp for the soul, because you have to learn to be more humble. You have to learn to be more tolerant. You have to learn to be more patient. So many things. You have to learn to be more understanding. You have to learn to listen more. Wow, what are we looking at here? We're looking at a person who has become more willing to listen, more tolerant of someone else's views, more patient with how they don't always get it over perfectly, there's so many things that you would have to change. More humble. They're not in there saying, yeah, well, what can I expect? Third world country, a load of crap. You won't stop going crazy. Sorry, if you're going crazy, that's somewhere up the road. Turn left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, until you can't remember which way you're going. Then you'll come to the town of Crazy. Good luck. You don't need a map for that, by the way. All you have to do is keep on keeping on as you do right now, and hating everything from the Mother Mary to the Catholic way to Muslims to the yodeling on the top of the tower. You're going to be there in a very, very short time. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Thanks for listening in. Don't forget to like, and if you can comment, that will be great. If not, you can at least subscribe. Bye for now.